Hello, Chef Marcus Guiliano here, and I'm your chef on a mission. Today's mission is garlic. Where is the garlic from that you're eating? So I recently almost got scammed, but because I'm a chef that cares about what you eat and what I'm serving, and that I only want to eat what I would serve you, I read ingredients. I read labels. I educate myself and hopefully educate everybody along the way as well, so we all eat better food. So I recently, checked this out. I recently was calling my regular supplier, who provides us with California garlic. It's the garlic that we use is California garlic. They go, Marcus, we have this other domestic garlic from Texas that you might want to try. I said, Texas garlic? They go, it's a lot cheaper. I said, that's interesting. I didn't know there was a big producer of garlic in Texas. I said, what's their name? So I didn't buy it right away. I mean, it was significantly cheaper. So a red flag went up in my head, like went up, like flag, woo woo, sirens, all that kind of stuff. I'm like, something's wrong with this. There's no way that they're producing garlic that cheap. Okay, California's the garlic capital of America. But give me the name. Let me check it out. So I go online and this pops up. So we usually buy Christopher Ranch garlic. We pay about $100 or more for 4 1-gallon units, 4 or 5-gallon units. That's Christopher Ranch. Now, keep in mind, all Christopher Ranch is not American. Christopher Ranch does have an import line where they import garlic from Mexico. I don't really see it that often, but there's another label on there. So Christopher Ranch being one of the most predominant brands, they have an organic one, they have a non-organic line, and now they have that Mexican imported line. I'm not sure if they just did that temporarily to alleviate a shortage of garlic this winter. I'm not 100% sure, but I did see it, so just buyer beware. Read labels. And up pops Garland. Okay, Garland is 6 gallons instead of 4 gallons. It's $83 instead of $99. That's a significant difference. As I'm reading this, it says domestically peeled garlic. Garland is a company that's based in Texas, I believe is what it was. That's where they're headquartered. So I go on their website, and because I don't believe what the salesperson, the person answering the phone, is saying. I don't believe that. Now I'm looking at the price. I'm like, okay, domestically peeled. There's my trigger. Domestically peeled, but where's it from? And of course, the person selling it to me was like, oh, it's domestic, right? It says domestic. It says domestic on the label. So I go to the website, and sure enough, it's imported from China, and it's processed here domestically. So this company, Garland, is using that word domestic and garlic to hopefully, thinking that you're going to, as me or me as a chef, overlook that peeled part and just say, oh, domestic garlic, perfect, it's a great deal. But I knew it was too good of a deal. I learned in business a long time ago, before I even had a restaurant. If you pay too little, you risk losing everything. If you pay too much, all you've done is pay a little bit of extra money. So I'm always conscious about what I buy when prices come in cheaper. I'm like, okay, what's the rest of the story? Because I know, being in this business so long, I know that you just can't do certain things at a certain price. It doesn't work in that economy. So that price was just out of whack, and that's what made me investigate. But now I want to talk to you about why you should not be consuming Chinese garlic, okay? Why you should not be consuming. And chances are, almost guaranteeing you're consuming Chinese garlic when you go into a restaurant. It's maybe not every restaurant, but in the course, if you went to 2 or 3 restaurants in 1 week or 1 month, you would guaranteed be eating Chinese garlic, because that's the way it does. And if you go into the chains like Olive Garden and things like that, that's what they rely upon. They need to keep their costs down, and that's how they do it. So here's an article. China has secretly been bleaching garlic and shipping it to the US, and here's how to spot it. Okay, now keep in mind, bleaching is not all that bad. I think the article says that. Chlorine's put in water, chlorine's put in chicken. You're already eating chlorine in your food, quote unquote bleach chlorine. You're already eating it in your food. It's part of the food production process because it kills. And of course, it's food grade chlorine. It's food grade bleach. Still, there are detriments to consuming it, but it is FDA approved. So that's not the real part of the problem. If you had well water, I've worked at places, I've been at places that have a well for their kitchen, and the health department comes in and says, drop a half a cup of bleach in the water because it didn't test properly. So bleach in your food, even though the headline of this is bleach, that's not the main problem of the Chinese garlic. Okay, sure, avoid bleach, avoid chlorine, avoid chlorinated water. Of course, do that, but that's not the problem here. So garlic is a nutritious vegetable that makes for a savory addition to many recipes. Yet new information has come to light that probably changed the way you buy and eat it. While focusing only using local ingredients nowadays, you think your produce is grown in nearby farms. Right? Wrong. You could very well be eating something that traveled halfway around the world to get to your grocery basket. And if you're not careful, it may cause serious health risks. Not many realize that 80% of the garlic sold around the world, 80% of the global garlic supply in the world actually comes from China. In 2014, the United States imported over 140 million pounds of Chinese garlic, and that trend is growing each year. Since you've likely been eating this garlic for so long, you may not think it's a problem until you learn it's often covered in bleach and pesticides. Most Americans assume their garlic comes from California. Gilroy, California actually calls itself the garlic capital of the world. Considering it was once one of the world's largest suppliers of garlic, that statement might have been true, yet that's changed in the past few years. In the US, it's become cheaper and easier to import garlic from places like China. Unfortunately, China isn't as stringent with its safety regulations. Reports run rampant that garlic bleached in chlorine, fumigated in pesticides, grown in untreated sewer water. Okay, the pesticides in the untreated sewer water, that's the real deal here. And even contaminated with lead, okay? The bleach in particular is used to cover up dirt spots, even though it's perfectly natural, according to the Australian Garlic Industry Association, Henry Ball. While bleaching kills insects, prevents sprouting, and helps whiten the bulb, it also is fumigated with a toxin called methyl bromide. While taken in high doses, methyl bromide can cause central nervous system and respiratory problems. According to the UN, it's 60 times more dangerous than chlorine. So the lower cost is not worth the risk. Luckily, you can easily tell the difference between Chinese and American garlic. First, look at the roots. Chinese importers have to remove the roots to abide by regulations, but American farmers have no such rule and often leave the roots attached. So if you're going to the store, roots or no roots, take the roots off if it's Chinese. They have to by law. American garlic does not have to, but most of us are buying garlic that's already peeled in a container or chopped in oil. Peeled in a container most likely, and that's what chefs are doing. Second, weigh it. Chinese garlic contains more water, so it's lighter. It actually is 37% solid compared to American garlic at 42%. To test it, give it a squeeze. The firmer bulb is the way to go. Third, taste it. I've worked many places that we've used Chinese garlic. This is going back into the 90s, where it's cheap Chinese garlic. It was prominent back then. And it used to, even 5, 6, 7, 10 years ago, you could buy a gallon of Chinese garlic for literally $5.99 as a chef, as a restaurateur. $5.99. Now it's gone up to more than that. And you should see 6 of those. Now 6 of those were $82, those 5-pounders. And they're using an American labor or American processing it on American ground. If it was processed in China, the reason why a lot of things are shipped to China to be processed and shipped back, and we scratch our head here and say, well, why is calamari from Rhode Island shipped all the way to China and back when we can be processing it here? And most calamari producers, packers, do that. They actually ship it to China and ship it back. It costs something ridiculous like 20 cents a pound round trip with the processing. You don't have to pay an American $15 an hour in a processing plant to do calamari. It's cheaper for that. And so this garlic that's processed in America, they're paying more American wages to do that. It's probably all run on machinery, jet engines, and going through a thing. But still, you have some American labor workforce in there. In China, it'd be probably less. Now, Chinese garlic, I see it at maybe $15 a gallon, as opposed to it literally was $5.99, and every chef was using it. I worked at places and I was like, this is disgusting. Because the garlic tastes metallic. It's a different taste. It tastes rancid. It's sour. You smell it and you're like, ugh, this is like, why are we cooking with this stuff? Why is this stuff on the line? Why is it going in every single dish when it tastes bad? This is what it's saying here. Third, taste it. Chefs swear that garlic from China has a bit of a metallic taste. While American bulbs are more flavorful, American garlic contains more allicin, which is the dominant factor determining its distinct taste and the smell that we love. Okay. Fun fact, garlic from China contains 35 parts per million of allicin, while American garlic contains 4,400 parts per million. That's a big difference. That's almost a 25% difference. The allicin is the part of the garlic that's actually has its therapeutic effects, its health-giving properties as well. So American garlic is healthier and it tastes better and it's fresher, and it doesn't have all those other implications that may come with Chinese garlic. Now, by no means am I saying that everything produced in China is bad. I'm sure there's a lot of dedicated producers there. I'm sure there's a lot of places where the water's cleaner, the land is cleaner, it's a big country. So I'm not saying that everything from China, so I don't want to offend anybody, because somebody always goes, Marcus, you're picking on China all the time, and China's bad, and I wish you... As a general rule, this is what's happening. The guy with a 3-acre farm is taking his garlic and selling it off to a big conglomerate who's repacking it and bleaching it and doing all that. And the conglomerate who's buying the garlic from these other farms, all these farms, may not be checking to see the quality of water and this and that, because they're just, they don't like less stringent regulations in China. So, American garlic may cost a bit more, sometimes significantly more, but I think it's worth it. I think it's totally 100% worth it, and I believe that for years. And of course, excuse me. Of course, local garlic is always the best. Local produce is always the best, and we spend so much more money here on local produce, broccoli. In fact, I love to brag about this. We only bought 1 case of Florida tomatoes all winter. Other than that, all the tomatoes came from right up the road here, and a couple cases came from Maine, from a greenhouse in Maine. The other ones were a greenhouse in the Hudson Valley. We bought 1 case of tomatoes from Florida. And while people are buying tomatoes for 20 bucks a case, we're paying $60 a case. For 15 pounds, everybody's paying 20 for 25 pounds. So we're dedicated here. Garlic, broccoli all winter long was 46 to 50 bucks a case. I saw it on everybody's list, on the produce list, for 20 bucks a case from Mexico. So the reason why we don't buy local garlic is because we go through so much, we need it to be peeled. And of course, labor, workforce is a tremendous challenge in the restaurant industry. So I'm piggybacking the workforce of Christopher Ranch, using their workforce to peel the garlic, because we have to rely upon certain items like that. It's not that I don't want to buy local garlic, and I do buy local garlic from time to time when we roast whole bulbs and stuff like that, but on a regular basis to rely upon it, it's a tough challenge for us. So that's why, so don't criticize me for that. I gave you the reason for that. We do a lot. We do so much. We buy so much local. I pay so much more money for it, and I'm proud of that. And I'm proud that I can buy American garlic as opposed to Chinese garlic. So you get what you pay for. I'm Chef Marcus Guiliano. Hope that helped you. If you found this interesting and useful, please share it. Give it a heart. Give it a thumbs up. Give it a like. Leave a comment. I'm happy to answer more questions. And until next time, go check out, of course, my restaurant website, aromatimebistro.com, ThymeBistro, aromatimebistro.com. Go out, check out chefonamission.com. Lots of cool stuff over there. And of course, you're probably seeing this on my YouTube channel or my Facebook, so we're already connected somehow. Thank you very much.